Okay, so lesson 3 is about making histograms. And so making histograms and frequency tables. So your I can statement for today says I can determine an appropriate interval for the data and construct frequency tables or histograms. So today, what you should be able to do is to determine the appropriate interval, construct a frequency table, or a histogram. Now, here is some vocabulary that we're going to talk about. It tells you that a histogram is a type of bar graph whose bars represent frequencies or numerical data within equal intervals. And we'll talk more about those equal intervals in a moment because that is going to be extremely important. So it says where there is a large number of data values, it is helpful to group data into intervals. A histogram is a way to show the group. Is a way to show the frequencies of numerical data. So here we have this picture, this taekwondo picture, and so one of the things is talking about as it relates to this is the equal intervals. So looking at the intervals, I want to make sure y'all know on this graph what are the intervals. So in this one, the intervals are 9 through 12, 13 through 16, 17 through 20, 21 through 25, 25 through 28. The key thing about these intervals, they said that they have to be equal. So with that being said, how many numbers are in each one of those intervals? Okay, and that's fine. It's actually not 3, it's actually 4. And it's 4 because you have to count the first number. So you have to say 9, 10, 11, 12. In each one of these intervals, there are going to be 4 numbers. That's just like 13 to 16 is going to be 13, 14, 15, 16. 4 numbers. 17 through 20, 17, 18, 19, 20. 4 numbers. 21 through 24, 21, 22, 23, 24. Do y'all understand what I'm saying to y'all? So every one of these intervals have to have an equal interval. All right, so let's look at this actual histogram here. So it says a taekwondo school teaches many ages of students. The ages of the students are shown in the histogram. So these are the ages. These are the number of students within those ages. Now, the next part says the height of the bar graph. What does the height of the bar graph represent, y'all think? What? Huh? Number of students. Good. The height is going to represent number of students. So please write number of students. Okay. Now, the next part says you can find the total number of students that were included in the data by finding the height of each bar and add those values together. Now, let me tell y'all what that means. So if I wanted to know the total number, I could go through and talk about how many students are in each bar. So for example, the 9 through 12 interval, how many students is there? Or how many students does it have? It has 13. And it has 13 because it is between the 12 and the 14. What about 13 to 16? How many students is that? 15. Okay, 17 through 20. 10. 21 through 24. 7. And then lastly, 25 through 28. 4. So if I wanted to know the total number of students, all I would have to do is add the 13, 15, 10, 7, and 4, and that would give me the total number of students. Now, let's look at C. C says there are blank students in the range of 24 through 25. 28 years old. How many students are in the range to 25 to 28? 4. And I know it's 4 because I'm looking at this histogram and I have 25 through 28. Now, for this lesson right here, I don't know if I'm going to let you guys use the calculator. So we don't need calculators at this time because we're not dealing with big numbers. These numbers are pretty small. Now, the next part says there are blank students between the ages of 9 to 16 years old. 9 to 16. How many students there are 9 to 16, Jakar? 28. And the way he got the 28 was he said the 13 with this 9 through 12. Keep in mind, they want to go from 9 to 12. 9 to 16. So he took the 9 to 12, which was 13, and then the 13 through 16. So he added the 13 plus the 15 to give you 28. Questions thus far? So everybody is good with A, B, C, and D because that's what we've done so far. All right. E says the age range of blank years old has the greatest number of students. Which one, raising your hand, has the greatest numbers of students? Which interval has the greatest number of students, Kennedy? 13 through 16. F says the difference between the number of students in the 13 to 16-year-old age range and the number of students in the 17-year-old to the 20-year-old range is what? So I'm going to just go back here and put this here. How many students are in the 13 to 16-year-old age range? 15. Yeah, because it says 13 to 16. 13 to 16 is right there. I know. No extras, please, sir. I appreciate it. The next part is going to be 17 to 20. How many students are between that 17 to 20? 10. Okay, so that's 10. And so because they asked for the difference, what operation should y'all be performing? Subtraction. So I'm going to say 15 minus 10, which is going to give us what? 5. That is. Any questions thus far? No questions, we move on. Go ahead, let's go to the next page. So the next part, we're going to talk about a frequency table. And so over here, we have some more vocabulary, and it talks about a frequency table lists items together according to the number of times or frequency that item occurs. So the word frequency is going to mean how often a number occurs, and we're going to make a frequency table. So a salesperson hands out samples doing work. The number of samples handed out each hour during the week, the number of samples handed out each hour during the week are tracked. Make a frequency table to represent the data. So the first thing you have to do when you make a frequency table is put the numbers in order from least to greatest. So because I'm writing this down and I don't want to make a mistake, I am going to write this in pencil. So hopefully you guys can still see. And so as I write this in pencil, I'm going to also cross out the numbers we've used. So what is the smallest number we have? 7. Okay. The next number? 8. Okay. How many times does 8 appear? 2. Okay, so I'm going to write it down twice. Okay, next smallest number? 10. How many times does 10 appear? Twice. Okay. Okay, next? 11. Next we have? 12. Does 12 occur only one time? Twice. Look, I see it twice. Okay. Okay, let's write it down. Let's keep moving. All right. What about the next number?
13.
Did 13 only occur once? I mean, twice? Okay. Then we have,
15.
looks like it occurs once. Then we have 16 that occurs, looks like twice. Okay. Then it looks like we have 18, 19. Do we have 20?
Yes.
Yes, 120. 21. Hopefully I have everything. 22. And then it looks like,
24.
ooh.
27. No, 23.
See, that's why I'm glad I wrote this in pencil, trying to go too fast. 23. I see it. 24. I see it. And then 27. So another thing I'm gonna do is just count all these to make sure that I have the right number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Then I'm gonna count this as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it all matches up. Now, so it says the numbers vary from, what was the smallest number?
7.
7 to the largest number, which was
27.
So they suggest making a scale from 1 to 30. They also say divide the data into 6 equal intervals. So what I'm gonna do is take the largest number. The largest number that they told us we were gonna work with is 30. So I'm gonna take that 30, and then they told me they want it to be in 6 equal intervals. So I'm going to divide that by 6, and that's going to tell me the number I should have in each interval, which in this case is going to be 5. So I'm going to have 5 numbers in each interval. So I'm going to write down 1 through 5. And again, if I count this, I need to count the first number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be 5 numbers. The second interval, what's your question? What part? Okay, so I'm dividing 30 by 6 because the scale is going to go from 1 to 30. Okay? And then here they told me they wanted me to divide it into 6 equal intervals. So I took the largest number of the scale, which is 30. That's how I got the 30. They told me they wanted me to divide it into 6. That's how I got the 6. And that's how I know that each interval is going to have 5 numbers. Okay. Now, so 1 through 5. My second interval is going to be 6 through 10. And again, I must include the 6 because that's going to make me have those 5 numbers. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I'm going to have 11 through 15 because I have to include that number.
So you gotta make it like 5 make that like
Each answer will have to have 5 numbers in it. So the next number is gonna be 16 through 20. And the reason why it's gonna be 20 because you have to include 16 when you counting your numbers. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I know when we count, like when we count up, like if I did 16 plus 4, I'm not going to include 16. I'm going to say 17, 18, 19, 20. You get what I'm saying? But because we want the intervals to be, have 5 numbers, we're going to include it. Those of you who are off task, please stay on task. Next, we're going to have 21 through 25. And then lastly, we're going to have 26 to 30. I hope that you guys understand what I was, try to get what I was saying. Now, These are first interval, second interval, third interval, fourth interval, fifth interval, and sixth interval. So where it says intervals, we have the first two intervals here. So I'm going to write down my third interval, 11 through 15, my fourth interval, 16 through 20, my fifth interval, 21 through 25, and then my sixth interval, 26 through 30. And in me doing that, I'm now going to do the frequency. And in me doing my frequency, I'm going to talk about how many numbers occur within that interval. So 1 through 5, we didn't have any. And we didn't have any for 1 through 5 because the first number we had was what? What was the first number we had when we started writing down our stuff? 7. The first number we had was 7. That's why we don't. That's why the frequencies of numbers occurring 1 through 5 is going to be 0 because I don't have any numbers 1 through 5. With my second interval, I'm going to have 1, 2. Well, my second interval is 6 through 10. So I'm including all the numbers 6 through 10, which will be 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. The numbers that fall between 11 and 15 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. The numbers that fall in between 16 to 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The numbers that fall in between 21 to 25 will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then lastly, the number that falls in between, or the numbers that fall in between 26 and 30 is going to be 1, which is going to be 27. Questions? Okay, so class is about up, so we're going to stop here, but we will pick up tomorrow on the last example.